this is Polish Prime Minister Troy Nawrocki has rejected a claim that so the general story is that Zelensky was awarded a pretty high Polish honor, Order of the White Eagle, right, for obviously uh, leading Ukraine in their conflict against Russia, and Nawrocki kind of stripped him of the state honor um, around supposedly a dispute over a name of a Ukrainian unit because it's named after someone who's considered a hero in Ukraine and a villain in Poland. I think it's particularly this guy, Stefan Bandera, who was a Ukrainian nationalist who really hated the communists, which meant when the Nazis came into Ukraine, Bandera seems to have been happy to work with them if it meant a freer Ukraine. So this has been common in Russian propaganda to lean in and claim that Bandera is synonymous with the Nazis, which is on one hand I understand, though it's one of those things that's like complicated because on one hand the worst things the Nazis did were not made public until after the end of the war, right? When the camps were found and people were like, oh my God, they were actually running a genocide. But it wasn't a secret that the Nazis were still like pretty bad people. And so, but it also wasn't really clear that the Nazis in Ukraine were especially worse than the Soviets in Ukraine. And so it's not it's another mixed historical figure, right? Thomas Jefferson kept slaves and also like founded the country. Hey, blind dog leading got. Thanks for the 20 kroner with the what I'm assuming is punching Russia. I assume it's not a fist bump. Yeah, pulling a Pete Hegseth where you wear the Russian flag and then you go, huh, it's also red, white, and blue. And it's white, blue, and red. The difference is meaningful. People are like, Bandera was a straight genocidal Nazi. Let's see. Far radical militant faction of the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalist. All right. Head of propaganda, the Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists. Head of the OUN for Poland. Organized the assassination of a Polish interior minister. Sentenced to death and then commuted to life imprisonment. Freed in 1939 following the German invasion of Poland. He moved to Krakow. OUN split in factions. Bandera led a more radical faction. Same day as the German invasion of the Soviet Union, he formed the Ukrainian National Committee. Announced a Ukrainian state in Lviv, pledged to work with Nazi Germany. Germany's disapproved of the proclamation for his refusal to rescind the decree. He was arrested by the Gestapo and sent to a concentration camp. Well, okay, he definitely wasn't a Nazi. I'm going to go ahead and say that most Nazis weren't really in the business of arresting their own people and sending them to concentration camps. He was released in the hopes he could fight the Soviet advance. He negotiated to create a Ukrainian National Army and Ukrainian National Committee in March of 1945. After the war, he settled in West Germany and was assassinated by the KGBs in Munich. But they think his followers were responsible for massacres of Polish and Jewish civilians in World War II. Interesting. Viktor Yushchenko posthumously awarded him Hero of Ukraine, widely condemned, but then annulled because he was never a Ukrainian citizen. It sounds like he was a complicated guy. Bandera's worldview was shaped by far-right values and concepts like ultranationalism, fascism, racism, and anti-Semitism, fascination with violence, belief that only war could establish a Ukrainian state, hostility to democracy, communism, and socialism. Yeah, it sounds like he wanted to be he sounds like he aspired to be a fascist leader. Combined extremism with religion and used religion to sacralize politics and violence. Okay, yeah, so he sounds like he was a super far-rightist, but probably not a Nazi. Probably couldn't be a Nazi because the Nazis killed Slavics like it was going out of style. So, yeah, it sounds like I don't think anybody's going to call the guy a hero. Yeah, it doesn't sound like he was a hero. He sounds like he was a central figure in fighting for a Ukrainian state, but probably not a great guy outside of his time. Even within his time, it sounds like he would have been considered a pretty far-right guy. So probably seems like he'd be about on par with like a pro-slavery founding father, you know? Like instrumental in the conception of American statehood and at the same time a participant in one of the worst atrocities committed by American statehood. Well, once again, guys, you're doing that thing where I see the Russian trolls in chat doing that thing where they mash words together that mean different things, and they just sort of smash them together and say, "Oh, this thing means that other thing." The and I point out that there are a ton of countries in the 30s that became fascist, some of which fought each other, right? So, and Putin, for obvious reasons. So here's all the list of fascist governing bodies that existed generally during the height of fascism, almost all ending in 45. So there was the Aerocross Party in Hungary, Monaco, it just says Monaco, National Government of Norway, Vichy France, the Empire of Japan, Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia, German-occupied Albania, the Kingdom of Albania, Slovak Republic, the Kingdom of Romania, National Legionary State of Romania under the Iron Guard, Jesus. National Christian Party, the Hellenic State, the Fourth August regime in the Kingdom of Greece, the Fête de los Jones in Spain, Spanish state, independent state of Macedonia, German-occupied Montenegro, government of Montenegro, independent state of Croatia, government of national salvation in Yugoslavia, general government of Poland, free city of Danzig, federal state of Austria, obviously the German Reich, in China, the reorganized national government, Makuchenko, El Salvador's Pro Patria Party, San Marino, Italian Social Republic, Fascist Italy, and the Free State of Fiume. So I think it's fair to say that while there were a lot, well, obviously everyone thinks of the number one fascist. This isn't even complete, by the way. There's no Portugal. And Portugal, the Estado Novo, is generally considered to be fascist. which is fascinating. This is the least complete thing I've ever seen. But the takeaway is that there's a lot of these which were like fascism has some like bad stuff baked into it, but that doesn't mean they're all equally bad, right? Some of these countries did not perpetrate large-scale genocides. For example, Franco, Spanish state, under Franco, was bad. Like they killed a lot of people, but not in the millions. Fascist Greece, for example. Oh, that's a puppet state. Let's see. Another client state of Nazi Germany. Nazi-backed puppet government. Oh, maybe these are all. Okay, well, I guess Spain's the best example. Okay, Digenis Kritska, $20. Thanks for the 20. The truth is, between 50,000 and 100,000 Poles were killed in Western Ukraine by Ukrainian nationalists between 1939 and 1945 due to ethnic tensions. Polish movie Volian explores this topic. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay, I'm fascinated by all these fascist governments that don't include like key other fascist governments. But yeah, I see what you mean. There's still a lot of these, like the Italians. The Italian fascists were not good, but I don't think it's fair to put them in the same like basket as the Nazis. There's a lot of whataboutism trying to sanitize Ukrainian Nazis and fascists. Again, they seem different. They're different things. It isn't meaningless. And like, it's not sanitizing, it's explaining. It's like saying that Thomas Jefferson is a founding father is me sanitizing slave owners. It's not. Two things can be true of historic figures. Yeah, okay, so it's about Bandera. Right? It says, while the UPA is recognized in Ukraine for its role in the independence struggle, Poland holds it responsible for the killings of Polish civilians in Volhynia and eastern Galicia during World War II. Nawrocki said naming the unit went beyond Ukraine's internal affairs and Kyiv had not addressed Poland's concerns on the issue. Following this, Zelensky returned the award to Warsaw by courier, stressing that Ukraine remains grateful to Poland for its assistance. This seems like symbolic back and forths. Other former presidents, interesting, also declared their refusal for the Order of the White Eagle, which is wild. But what's funny is that Tusk is like, this is stupid and damaging. And Zelensky himself is like, hey, I think this whole thing is driven by domestic political considerations, as Nawrocki is trying to sort of shore up himself to take on Donald Tusk for the presidency by kind of shoring up his far right flank by saying, listen, I'm a Polish nationalist too, and he's choosing a battle that's symbolic instead of practical. Okay, on the flip side, Digjeansak. On the flip side, the origin of such ethnic tensions was a policy of reivindication of the Orthodox churches in interwar Poland, where Poland confiscated or destroyed over 400 Orthodox churches belonging to Ukraine. Yeah, I think that's one of the stories here is that people, anyone that tells you that people are just like bloodthirsty for the sake of being bloodthirsty is like like it's just not true. Like, human beings don't operate that way. They generally have internal justifications. Are they always based on true fact? No. But they'll always give you a story as to why they're good. And again, if you're somebody who goes, hey, I'm a Ukrainian, there's this Ukrainian church, and like, if you're like, this is literal divinity and these people are burning it, again, you can see how you can end up in this kind of horrible place. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, check out another video here, and of course, become a member at combatvetnews.com for access to an entire archive of premium videos, including combat footage that YouTube would never let me show you. The link is in the description. And of course, a huge thanks to all of the Combat Vet News members.